Hey, how's everyone doing?
Fantastic, Tony. Thank you for joining us today. So Tony, we're introducing ourselves, letting everybody get to know us a little bit. Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. I know I've known you for a long time, Tony. You've been involved with CrimeStoppers since 1997. Tell everybody about yourself, Tony.
Well, I'm glad that we're starting a live show. And I am a retired law enforcement officer from Montgomery Police Department. I served 21 years at the Montgomery Police Department. I retired in 2012. I now serve as the executive director of Central Alabama CrimeStoppers.
Fantastic, Tony. And you and I, we've known each other for a long time, and now we're getting to work together at CrimeStoppers. But we just would not be CrimeStoppers without our law enforcement officer liaison. He is law enforcement relations director, Ray Wagner, and he is such a great addition to our team. He really has done some amazing stuff here at CrimeStoppers. And Ray, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave, for that great introduction. I'm glad to be here.
Ray, tell us a little bit about yourself, Ray. Tell everybody who you are, Ray.
Basically, my name is Ray Wagner. I am a retired police officer from the great city of Prattville, the preferred community.
And Ray, we're going to hear that all the time. In the office, everyone, he talks about how great it was to be a Prattville police officer. I just want y'all to know that. We hear it constantly, but we're happy for you, Ray. We're glad you enjoyed your time in Prattville.
Thank you both. But no, I did 26 years for the city of Prattville. Before that, I was in the city of Millbrook. But enjoyed my time in Prattville, and I'm really enjoying my time with Central Alabama CrimeStoppers today.
Fantastic, Ray. And having you here has been just absolutely fantastic. And gentlemen, we're all going here together, and our very first Facebook Live, they'll be able to go back and actually listen to this again on a podcast. So how awesome it is that we're able to do this first live for Facebook. But really the reason we want to do this, gentlemen, is to tell everybody about CrimeStoppers, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about what we do. So there is a misunderstanding when it comes to CrimeStoppers, Tony and Ray. I hear a lot that people actually think that we're law enforcement. So let's go ahead and get that out there, gentlemen. Ray, tell us about that. Are we law enforcement? What is the deal?
No, like each one of us said earlier, we are retired police officers. We're currently working for you, the public, through Central Alabama CrimeStoppers. Again, remember, Central Alabama CrimeStoppers is a nonprofit organization. Basically, we bring the community, which is very powerful, along with the media to help, police or law enforcement solve crimes throughout the state of Alabama. Due to the fact we're currently serving 27 counties, Dave. We're currently serving over 100 plus agencies from Chambers County, which is most of you may know Valley, Alabama, Lafayette, Lynette, down in that area, all the way up through Lee County, Bacon County, Elmore County, we're over in Covington County, Dale County, all the way over to the city of Gaston, Alabama. So we're really across the state of Alabama. And if you are a law enforcement department that currently does not have a CrimeStoppers program, we want to be your CrimeStoppers program. So give us a call at 334-215-STOP. Ask for either one of us, and we'll be more than glad to come visit you and tell you a little bit more about who we are and how can we help serve you and your community, Dave.
Thanks, Ray. So Tony, I've been a part of CrimeStoppers on the board for many, many years. When we started, Tony, back in 1997, we only served this area. We have grown across the state now. We are in 27 counties. As Ray said, that's just unbelievable the growth that we've had. And I really credit that to you and Ray and our former Andre Mitchell, who used to be a part of our team, that really went out there and got these other agents on board. Tony, tell us about the mission of having the involvement of agencies from across the state.
Don't forget our board too. We have a volunteer board made up of about 17 citizens. And back to the original question, not side skirting or anything, but when you said we're not law enforcement, we really need to address that. It really needs to be really emphasized. We are not a law enforcement program. This is a community program. This is your program. If you're a citizen of a city or community, this is your program. When there's a crime that occurs in your city, your community, it's up to you to go ahead and call us at 215-STOP or download our app and tell us about that crime. When we get the information, we are actually giving it to law enforcement so they can actually investigate it. The reason that we're so important, sometimes you're in a situation where you can't call police and you utilize Crime Stoppers for that to remain anonymous, such as if you're involved in a domestic violence situation, or if you're that elderly citizen that just had a drug dealer move next door to you. In some situations, you cannot call law enforcement because you're afraid that someone might knock on your door as a police officer and you're outed as telling something about what they're doing illegally. So you don't want any repercussions or any type of retaliation. And that's why a lot of people use Crime Stoppers. And a lot of times we show information that you may not think is enough to call 911 or the police. So you utilize a service like ours. Again, we are a community-based program. We're not law enforcement.
Right. And so Tony, and also going across the state, our mission, reaching agencies across the state of Alabama. What is the thought process there?
The reason that we expanded from just being a Montgomery program, criminals have no boundaries. So we felt that law enforcement shouldn't have any boundaries either. When there's a crime that occurs in a great city of Prattville, like Ray said, sometimes those same criminals, they come to Montgomery. We just showed a case about a week or two ago. About a week or two ago. And I think you guys saw it on the news outlets saying a person was arrested for 33 burglaries. That person actually committed burglaries in other cities and other communities. And thank goodness U.S. Marshals got him in custody, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And that person cleared 33 burglaries in multiple cities. So it was the community act that actually started saying who this person was, and investigators were able to call other agencies and to connect the dots and get this person in custody.
Right. Well, that really sums up the mission there across the state. And Ray, you go to these agencies, you're out in the public, you meet these law enforcement agencies in other places. Some of the things that you're seeing is with these criminals and these crimes being committed here and elsewhere, what is the tie-in that these other agencies are seeing, and how do we combine that with our efforts?
Well, like Tony just said, criminals they do not have a boundary anymore.
Right.
We have a CART program, which is called Coalition Against Retail Theft. We have been able to put these people together from different communities and be able to show them as regional shoplifters. Because I don't call any community out, but they may jump from North Alabama down to South Alabama and over to Georgia and so on and so forth. We're able to tie these groups together and give that information over to law enforcement with the public's help.
Thank you, Ray. And let's talk a little bit about our reach and how we reach the public. We do that through different outlets, right? We do that through the media. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, when law enforcement sends us a request, we don't show anything without law enforcement sending us a request. So, Mr. Shea, you said y'all always trying to get the thefts, not the murders. That is not true. We try to show everything that an investigator or a law enforcement agency sends us. So if an agency sends us thefts, we're going to show thefts. If they send us murders, we're going to show murders. We're not just plucking things from the news outlets or from things that we've seen on social media. The request has to come from law enforcement. So law enforcement is our partner, and the reason that it has to come from law enforcement, we need a contact person. So when we get information, we can send that information directly to the investigator. Plus, it eliminates us actually messing up the investigation, if you will, because if you start showing things that's not supposed to be shown about investigation, we could cause more harm than good. So that's another reason that we rely on law enforcement to send us a request about the crime that they actually need help on. We don't want to hinder law enforcement. We want to make sure that we are serving as a resource and not just someone that's just posting things just to be posting things. So every time we see a post on Crime Stoppers, it's actually a method behind the madness. We actually have a request from law enforcement stating that.
If I can, if you don't mind, Dave. Also, if you notice that whenever we put out a press release or you see something in the media, at the very bottom with the departments that we serve, it always says contact Crime Stoppers or your local agency. Just remember, everything we do is on a reward scale, the way we pay out, Dave. If there's a homicide or murder in your area, you'll notice at the very bottom it'll say Crime Stoppers pay out $1,000 for any information leading to the arrest. Okay, it says arrest, it does not say conviction. Okay, so we ask that you all go ahead and start calling in, and if that information that you give us leads to that person's arrest, you should have, well, you will have your money within 30 days. Okay, so there's a homicide or murder, whatever, Crime Stoppers automatically pay out of $1,000. Okay, if that case is 2 years old, we'll pay out $2,500. If that case is over 5 years old, Central Alabama CrimeStoppers will pay out over $5,000. And again, I know it's not all about money, but it's in cash. Also, public, if you go up and you strike a law enforcement officer and they are currently looking for you, wherever you may be, Central Alabama CrimeStoppers will put up $2,500 cash for your arrest, as long as law enforcement is currently looking for you. Did I miss anything, Tony?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I'm just
Dave, did I miss anything?
Wait a minute.
Executive Director, go ahead, sir.
This is for you, Dave. Hey, how far is our reach? You said about when we put out a press release. What's that reach like? Because right now you are operations guy and you are starting to do a lot of the press releases for us.
Right.
It goes out to 10 and 20 media contacts.
Right.
But what does that mean? How many people are we actually reaching?
So how that works, it's actually going to be Facebook analytics that really come into play here. So our reach will vary on posts. But Tony, we're reaching anywhere from 300,000 people on just one post on our Facebook page, sometimes even more than that. But what happens is I had a chance to meet with some executives from Facebook when I worked at the Wagner Police Department. During that time frame, we were considered one of the top law enforcement agencies on Facebook. And so I had a chance to really get to talk to them and pick their brain, if you will. And I got that chance to ask them about the analytics of Facebook. And we talked about it. And basically how that works is the post, the more engaged that post is, the more clicked that post is, the more liked and shared that post is, the more it will be seen. And pretty much what Facebook will do when they put a post out, you put a post out, they automatically start picking up on the engagement of that post. That's why sometimes you'll see posts that will only have 2,000 people that saw it, because it just didn't have that reach. It just didn't engage the audience. And some posts will automatically just start really getting pushed out, and that's why you'll get those 200,000, 300,000 people that saw the post. So with us, it really helps us when you like, when you share our posts, because it's really pushing that message out there. And you can support us not only, obviously we have ways to support us with donations, but you can support us by just being a part of our Facebook page and being a part of the mission and sharing our information. So Tony, reach is really, it's really incredible how many people can be reached, but we can actually tell the cases get solved. It's the most engaged posts that are actually the ones that typically get solved because everyone sees it.
So that like button actually plays a big difference.
Yes. The share button, the like button, comments, and what we love seeing that interaction. So when you are a part of that on Facebook, everyone that's out there, I mean, obviously you're who we're talking to. it means so much to us, and it means so much to the victims out there that are facing these issues and dealing with these criminals and the families. Imagine that if you are a family member and your family member had been a victim of homicide. You just are. It's horrible to the family. Can you imagine put yourself in their shoes, what they would feel like? So we are able to push out this information and help families, help the victims, help the crime victims. And imagine this also, gentlemen, and you guys, being here, I've heard these calls that we get from the people that call us, from our tipsters. A lot of times there's a lot of passion, a lot of compassion in these people that are calling us, the tipsters, giving us this information, because this is somebody. Imagine that if you are dealing with a person that's wanted for murder, that person probably has violence, anger management issues. Could you imagine them being in your life? And so when they call and tell us, hey, I know where they are, sometimes it's actually a cry for help. They don't know how else to get out of that situation. So they actually call us for help. And those tips actually are helping a lot of people and cleaning up the community as well.
We can't go into details about a lot of calls that we receive or the cases that we receive, but I know it was one where a mother called, and we had just showed her son's face on CrimeStoppers involved in a robbery. We hadn't identified him yet, but the mother called and said that I believe my son just committed a robbery. Right now, he's just went to a store, or he's out of the house. I need help because my son is abusing me. So we were able to get that mom some assistance because we called the police, and she was able to positively identify the person that we showed during our own robbery. And she was able to tell the police, okay, he's has a gun. He has a gun on him, but I need help. So we were able to get that guy in custody, and we were able to get the mom some assistance that she needed. So a lot of times people I know people use that snitch word. That word is to us non-existent. It doesn't really equate to what we're doing, because majority, 99% of the calls that we get, they are concerned citizens. Of course, that 1%, they do want a reward. They want some money. But majority of the time, it's someone that's calling actually concerned about a person that's involved in a murder or assault or robbery, because they're afraid that the person is going to hurt someone in the wrongdoings that they're doing. Matter of fact, we had a person that was involved in a robbery. He was the getaway driver, so to speak. He said, hey, the guy that I've been driving around, he's been committing convenience store robberies, and I think he's going to hurt someone. And we were able to get that guy in custody because he didn't mind being involved in the robbery, but he just didn't want to get someone killed or get someone hurt. So sometimes it's not really being a snitch when you see where your life is going downhill and you see where it's going to affect someone else. Snitch is the person that's in prison and they're calling and they were involved in the crime with you, and they're trying to get out of that situation. That's a snitch in true definition. But if your house just got broken into and they stole all your Christmas gifts, there's no such thing as a snitch. You want someone to tell who broke into that house. You want someone to go ahead and tell who did whatever they did, especially in a murder. A lot of families, they're going through situations you can't imagine what a family goes through until you listen to them tell their side of the story. For us, they lost a loved one, and their entire family that's living is being affected by the loss of that loved one. They're looking for some type of closure, at least for someone being captured and placed in jail so they can get on with their life. So we even serve as another way with the resources that we have, our partners, if you will, that deal in counseling and deal with addiction. So a lot of times we're calling those people to assist in the victims' families that are going through. We had 3 cases of suicide about 3 months ago where they were considering suicide. And we were able to call our partners and get them some type of counseling and assistance. So Crime Stoppers does a lot. It's not just answering the phone and turning over information to law enforcement. Sometimes it's being at a listening ear and just listening to the person that's going through something and being able to offer some type of assistance.
Right. And Tony, being just coming aboard and getting to hear these phone calls, it really is something just something amazing to be a part of. And just this month alone, we've had our tips have solved multiple crimes, multiple cases, and just watching that unfold is just really a neat thing to be a part of. So let's talk a little bit about the tipsters. So they feel that, the tipster says, "Hey, how do I really know when I call you? How do I really know that you're not going to know who I am and that my identity is really going to be kept safe?"
Good question, Dave. Basically, in our office, which we're currently in, there's no recording devices in this office. There is no caller ID. We have no way to know who you are, tipster. So basically, when you call, the phone just rings, phone number pops up. Okay. We then ask you what happened, or what would you like to tell us. Once you tell us that information, I will then give you your number. That number is computer generated. Okay, that's the only way I will know who you are, by that number that I give you that's computer generated. I'll in turn ask you to watch the media. More than welcome to call us back. What I'll do is I'll put that in a summary and I will send it to our law enforcement partners, to whichever you tell me that the crime committed in that area. If it's Talladega, if it's Chillicothe, if it's Childersburg, if it's Tuskegee, Elmore, wherever it may be, I'll then send that information to that law enforcement agency. Okay. Now, once I send it to them, it's up to them to go out and investigate your information. Okay. A lot of times, Dave, on these tips, once we post something and it goes out to the 200 plus media sources, over to the however many numbers you said, big numbers you said on Facebook. Once I receive that first tip, I send it. I may receive an additional 200 tips more on that same case. Okay. So it's up to law enforcement to tell me which tip actually led to the arrest. And remember, we pay out 30 days after the arrest, not conviction, the arrest. So once they may tell me the 50th tip, and they'll give me that number that I give you back. They'll tell me that this tip led to the arrest rate. That's the tip that I'm going to pay out, okay? So just because you called me a week later, you're probably not the first one to call me. But if you are the first one that called me a week or two later, then law enforcement is going to give me your tip number because you're the only one to have that tip number. That is the only way I know who you are. So please, when we give you that number, please keep up with us. We've had people call us back in the past and say, "Hey, I gave you that information." Well, I'm going to ask you, what is that tip number? You may tell me, "I don't remember." Well, remember, I may have received anywhere from 1 to 2 to 300 tips on that same case. So there's no way I'm probably going to remember which one you are unless you told me something that really stood out to me, okay? So, hey, a lot of people use nicknames, okay? If there's someone in our area named Hot Sauce, I apologize to you, first of all. Let me say that.
If there's a hot sauce, I'll probably
okay, yes. If you are, so hot sauce, whatever no shirt, whatever your nickname may be, I'm gonna type that information in and send it to law enforcement to that area. They probably know who hot sauce is. So once they put that together and tell me that tip is the one that led to the arrest. Now, tipster, if you call me back a month later and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you hot sauce and no shirt," I may remember that information. But if it's just basic information, Dave, there's no way we can put that information. But again, there's no caller IDs. There's nothing in this building to tell me who you are, other than that tip number that I give to you, and that's simply the information that you gave to me.
Right.
Hey, Dave, if I may,
Yeah.
a lot of rewards go unclaimed, and one of the part of the reason is that the person might have lost their ID, or they just didn't know the case was solved. So that's another reason that we're doing these live broadcasts. We're going to start doing updates with these live broadcasts, so you'll know when a case has been solved and we're paying out a reward. And that'll be a good indicator for you to go ahead and call us to try to reward your money or claim your reward.
So let's talk a little bit about that, Tony. So the money process here. So people, I'm sure that they don't always believe that we really pay people, that we really pay our tipsters cash money. That can be kind of hard to wrap your head around, because you're like, yeah, you probably can say you pay out, but you really don't. But Tony, I've seen it. I've seen us pay out. We've actually paid quite a bit out. Tell us a little bit about that, Tony, about our payout system.
Well, this month alone, we're going to pay out on 5 cases that we have. So the next live stream that we do, we'll pretty much address those 5 cases and tell you, hey, your reward is ready to be claimed. But when you see a post or you see it on the news, or you know for a fact that the person that you turned in or the information you turned in led to an arrest or the solving of a crime, that's your indicator to go ahead and call us at 215-STOP, or look at the app, because we can address you through the app. If you download the app, we can. If you download the app, we can go ahead and text in and tell you the procedure to claim your money.
Okay, Ray, this is you here. What is the app that we like to use?
P3 Tips. That's P as in Papa, 3 Tips app. Now you can go on your smart device and go in your app store or Play Store. I'm not an iPhone fan, I'm an Android fan. But go to Play Store, go to the P3 Tips, that's P3, T-I-P-S tips.com. Download that app and click on Central Alabama CrimeStoppers. And guys, it's just like you're texting. No one would know that you're contacting CrimeStoppers, okay? You can go on there, you can upload video, you can tell us whatever it is you need to tell us, okay? And you still remain anonymous. There's no way to track it back to your cell phone, okay? So you still remain anonymous. Tony, if I'm not mistaken, we have had no one identified since inception of the program in 1997. Am I correct?
Since May 1997, we have not had one person to be identified through our process through this program.
And we like to keep it that way as well, correct?
Yes.
This is a safe place. We don't care who you are. We don't care if you're sitting in the car with a person that committed the crime. We do not care what your association is with the criminals that we're putting lookouts for. When you call and provide that information, it's safe with us, right, gentlemen?
Yes. We only want, we get enjoyment out of having law enforcement call us back and say, hey, the community stepped forward and they identified this person that committed this burglary or this murder or whatever the crime is.
Right, and just to remind everybody that software is so easy to download. You simply go to your app store and type in what we said, P3 Tips, into your system there. You'll download that app. It's absolutely free. It's not going to cost you anything. And that's really a great way to notify CrimeStoppers, because this allows you to actually keep up with the tip and keep your tip number in the system and actually add to your tip. So if you had more information that you wanted to provide to us, let's say you're saying, hey, I know where this suspect is. Currently, they're staying in a hotel on the boulevard in Montgomery. Well, once you get more information, maybe you get a room number, maybe they went to another city, you can update that exact tip for us as well. So the P3 tip is a great way to do that. Again, that's really what we encourage people to download. So, moving forward here, as we talk about what we do with CrimeStoppers, is there anything we have touched on that you feel like we need to make sure everyone's aware of?
We are a nonprofit, meaning that we have to have fundraisers and we have to raise our funds. We do get some funding from the cities and the counties that we serve, but we have to raise the rest of it. So if you have any type of charity that you would like to give to, consider CrimeStoppers as one of those charities. Start looking at our live podcast, so you'll see the type of work that we're doing, so it'll sort of make sense for you. We are truly here to serve you, and we are truly here to help make your community safer.
Right, and Tony, you mentioned some of the fundraisers we do. We got a bill coming up, the golf tournament, as you can see on our page right there. You can go to www.215stop. Give it information about the golf tournament. Is there anything like to say about that, Tony?
Yes, that is our favorite tournament, golf tournament fundraiser that we have. October 14th, it'll be good weather. So if you're a golfer, please go ahead, give us a call and register to join us on the 14th of October.
Right, and there's business partnerships and sponsorships, as you can see there. 215stop.com. Go there and you can get more information. You can call our office too if you'd like to have one of those sponsorships. But it's a pretty good day of fun at that rate.
It is. It is a lot of work, but it's a fun day, David. It really is. But before we get off of that, whatever we're about to do, if we're about to keep talking, since school just started, I'd like to bring up another program that we're currently in partnership with Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm. And if y'all don't mind, I'd like to read this to you so there's no misunderstanding. Again, this is a partnership with Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive. This reward program offers up to $500 for any tip that leads to the confiscation of a gun on school grounds, including after-school sanctioned events. CrimeStoppers also offers rewards to any student that turns in an individual involved in any activity that they deem to be a danger to the student or staff in their school. Tony, you want to follow up on that behind me?
Yes, normally before COVID, we were averaging about 12 guns per year. And each one of those incidents, the student was close to using a gun in the class or on school grounds. So this program is important because it puts the safety of the students back in their hands, because they're controlling the situation. If they see something that's dangerous, they have access to call 215-STOP or download the app, or tell the school resource officer that we try to certify each year with that information. All we want to do is try to keep our schools safer, and the best way to do that is to make sure we have a resource where the students can tell us what's going on in the school, so we can get the proper authorities to address it and make that student safer.
Also, parents, please lock your weapons up. Throughout the school year of last year, we spoke with a couple of students, and they basically told us, I didn't mean it. I wasn't going to do anything with this gun. I just wanted to show it to my friend. Parents, it was a loaded handgun. Okay, so please lock your weapons up, secure your weapon the best way you can. We have, I think we got some free locks back there, if I'm not mistaken, Tony.
Yes, we still have gun locks here.
We still have gun locks. If you need a free gun lock, please give us a call, 334-215-STOP. Also, if we don't ask for one of the directors. Okay, let us know you want a gun lock, and we'll make arrangements to get you that or have you stop by the office. Also, something I failed to mention earlier. For some reason, we have a 24-hour call center. If the three of us doesn't answer your call on the third ring, it goes to a call center 24/7, 7 days a week. Okay, you will not get a phone in the corner. You will not get an answering machine. You will get a live person. Okay, once we obtain that information from you is when we send it to law enforcement.
Right.
Okay.
All right, well, gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap this up. Wow, it's been a great first podcast. I've really enjoyed chatting with you guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll do more of these and cover different topics and give more updates. But again, we just really want to thank you for your involvement in CrimeStoppers. We would have zero success without you, without your support, without you being a part of this. So thank you. We ask that you check our Facebook page as often as you can and relay the information. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.